With the Pac-12's initiatives to expand internationally, including the basketball game in China and the recent football games in Australia, how would you assess how that's gone, and do you anticipate the conference continuing to try to push the brand out to other countries in the next half decade or so?
Yeah, we've gotten a great reaction to some of our international initiatives. Basketball, we've been playing a regular Pac-12 China game now for a few years, featuring a Pac-12 team against a non-conference opponent to kick off the basketball season. And as you mentioned, we've had some successful football games in Australia. Based on the reaction from our schools, the experience for the student athletes has been incredible. Our coaches have responded well, and they've asked us to do more of that. So yeah, there are plans in the works to have some more football games overseas in the coming years, and through our partnership with Alibaba. In other words, in China, I expect the Pac-12 China game to continue for a while, and looking at other sports as well.
Is there anywhere in particular with football that you're looking at maybe trying to host another game, or maybe expand the telecast coverage?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Oh, yeah. Is any country outside of maybe Australia that you're looking to expand the international football game?
Yes. Yeah, we're looking at some of the countries where the NFL has had great success playing overseas, and we're in conversations in a lot of those countries. Don't have anything more specific to announce at this point, but you know, there's a growing interest in American football overseas. There's a growing international community of alumni and other stakeholders from our schools. So I think first and foremost, we're focused on football-loving, American football-loving countries. So Australia, UK, Mexico, Canada is likely places for more football.
Okay, back right corner.
Hi, Larry. Bruce Marshall at Sports Byline USA. Quick question. Las Vegas exists for events like this. The Raiders Stadium will be ready in 2 years. It would be a great venue for the Pac-12 title game. I know you're already there for the Hoops tournament at T-Mobile in March. Any thoughts about moving this event and in a couple of years the football title game to Las Vegas?
Yeah, we've had a great experience with the events that we've done in Las Vegas. We have a bowl game there currently, and as you pointed out, it's been a tremendous success moving our Pac-12 basketball tournament, which was in Los Angeles, to Las Vegas. Our fans have responded in a terrific way. We're at the beginning of a process right now where we're looking at all of our bowl arrangements, and undoubtedly as part of that process, there will be interest in elevating what we know today is our Las Vegas Bowl, you know, perhaps further up our lineup, looking at possible opponents. You know, I've had a chance to visit the stadium, spend a lot of time with the leadership of the Raiders, and it is going to be a remarkable new stadium, truly state-of-the-art. There's also a lot of excitement in the marketplace based on the success of the Golden Knights, in addition to the success they've had with the Pac-12 tournament and other tournaments. I think you'll be seeing more championships there generally. So I think the future looks bright for events in Las Vegas, and given that we already have a foothold and relationships in basketball and football, I'm sure you'll see us do more there.
All right, we'll stay on the right side, the back row in the middle.
Commissioner Andrew Hobner, KZI9 Sports in Eugene, Oregon. Just wondering if we could get kind of an inside look on the Pac-12 networks, how they are right now in terms of where their revenue streams and projections might be at, and what the roadmap kind of looks like for them in the next 6 months to a year, also in regards to the conference's current partnership with AT&T.
Yeah. So we're in the year 7 of the Pac-12 networks, and with most of our distributors, we've got 12-year agreements. We're very fortunate that we've got long-term stability in our contracts. We have over 70 different distributors of the Pac-12 networks, and all the major ones, aside from DirecTV. And most all those contracts, if not all those contracts, go through 2024. So I would describe us midway through these agreements as in a period of stability where you won't see big changes in terms of the revenue distribution up or down. On the one hand, there's declining subscriber bases, given cord cutting and other dynamics in the industry. But that's made up for with increased rates that we get every year that were contractually negotiated, as well as advertising and other revenue. So we've got a very stable, secure business model through 2024. You asked about AT&T, DirecTV. There were various stages. We held out some hope that when AT&T purchased DirecTV, that might help break the loggerhead we were at with DirecTV, but that did not materialize, and I'm not expecting at this point in time there to be any change in that for the current term of our deal. So I think we've got a solid model where we've got predictability in terms of the revenue. The networks, I'll use the opportunity to remind, the original purpose of our TV network is very mission-based. The main purpose was to provide a platform and exposure that previously didn't exist. So we have 850 live events per year on that network, more than any other college conference network. We own and control it ourselves, which gives us flexibility to prioritize those things that may be important one year to the next. In addition to the 850 live events, most of which are Olympic sports, we invest in that because that's the priority for our campuses. This exposure to promote the Conference of Champions. As I said in my earlier remarks, what's unique about our conference is the broad-based excellence. We've got more Olympians, more gold medalists, more NCAA champions by far than any other conference. It was important to us. The reason the networks is mission-based, we started it because it was important to this conference to have a platform to expose that we excel at. So the value of that is really hard to quantify. The feedback I get from our coaches, the impact on recruiting, the impact on exposure, the impact in terms of recruiting coaches, is enormous. Harder to quantify in terms of revenue, but we measure success, certainly based on financial metrics. But the most important reasons we started the network were non-financial. The other aspect of your question is, the strategic reason for starting the network, in addition to being mission-driven, was to be future-focused as well. And that's why we place such a premium on our ownership and control. The easier path would have been to take in a partner at a media company that's got more leverage, could guarantee some revenue. But that comes with commitments of, 25 years that they're going to be your partner. And on the heels of doing our Tier 1 deals with ESPN and Fox, strategically, we really liked the idea that we can own and control and have the flexibility when our contracts come up to adapt to a rapidly changing environment. So when we did that, we didn't know that the market would change as rapidly as it is, but sitting here in 2018 with the emergence of Amazon, Facebook, Google, Twitter as legitimate platforms and potential purchasers of live sports rights, to see the increase in value in college sports, to see the consolidation happening in the industry where ESPN and Disney are going to have more resources to buy sports rights, that Fox is going to have more resources to buy sports rights, that Turner, now that it's owned by AT&T, is going to have more resources to provide sports rights. Couldn't be more delighted with where we are strategically and the fact that, we're the only conference in the country that come 2024 is going to have all our rights back, complete control, and we're going to be able to adapt and react and take advantage of this new world media order that's coming in a way others can't.
Okay, the far right side, in the middle, and the far right.
Ryan Carchi, Southern California News Group. Larry, it seems pretty likely that sports betting, at least legalized sports betting, will be on the horizon here in the next couple of years. In terms of the Pac-12, what sort of concerns do you and the conference have, and what have you talked about, I guess, up until this point?
Yep. So we've got concerns going forward about kind of a state-by-state approach and the proliferation of it, but we come at it from a perspective of having a lot of experience in the space. Sports betting's been legal in Las Vegas for some time, kind of in our footprint. As was mentioned earlier, we have events there. So we've had deep relationships for some time with consultants and other entities in Las Vegas that have had a very serious interest and commitment to protecting the integrity of sports. It's somewhat counterintuitive when I talk to people about this, that there would be entities around the gaming environment that would care about, making sure the competition's on the up and up, but their survival is based on it. So there's a great infrastructure and regulations around gaming in Nevada, and a relationship we've been able to have with them to monitor any issues that are a potential concern that have given us confidence that we haven't had significant issues or problems. Our concern going forward is really about the types of regulations, infrastructure, and commitment to integrity that other states might have as states might adopt this, and whether we can have the kinds of relationships with entities to know if there's some unusual action on a game or some strange movement and timing around the game, or reason to be concerned, to conduct investigation, which we do from time to time. And that's why we are supportive of the NCAA's efforts with the NFL and others to advocate for national legislation, restrictions, and standards around this area, because my first and foremost concern is protecting our student athletes, those around our programs, and the integrity of the competition.
I know a couple of universities, I think it's West Virginia and Marshall, have already negotiated an integrity fee to get some revenue from sports betting. Is that something, as a conference or even as the individual schools in the conference, you would be open to that sort of idea, or?
That's not our focus at the moment, and I don't think that should be the primary focus of our universities right now. I think more important than what's happening with the proceeds from gambling is what entities are going to be set up to monitor who's betting, how much they're betting, when are they betting, and are there unusual, there's a lot of sophistication analytics around this, but who's monitoring it to keep track of what's happening and identifying and giving red flags if there's anything that we as a league or a school should be concerned about. So I think, I think first and foremost focusing on where the revenue is going is a misalignment of what the priority should be right now.
Okay, we'll stay on the right, second row.
Hello, Mr. Scott. Cameron Buford, LA News Observer, by way of What's Good in Sports. I got a question about the East Coast bias that we experience here on the West Coast. And if you're doing anything with the scheduling to combat the East Coast bias with some of your higher profile teams.
Yeah, there's, the way I look at, I'm a New Yorker, come from the East Coast, so I think I've got a pretty objective vantage point on it. The way I think about it is there's great structural advantages our Pac-12 schools have, and there's also structural disadvantages Pac-12 schools have. Advantages we have are some of the amazing cities and markets that we're in, like, where we're sitting right now,